This video will discuss laying out, cutting out, and assembling the simplest of our polyhedron shapes. Before you get started, we need to have our cutting mat, tag board, our straight edge, drafting tape, mechanical pencil, eraser, X-Acto knife, compass, Elmer's glue, and our handout. So the tetrahedron, like I said, is the simplest of our shapes, and it is made of 4 sides. This is the tetrahedron, and this is what's called the planar net. The planar net is essentially the volume of the tetrahedron unfolded and laid flat. So what I want to do is draft out this shape. I'm going to start with the pencil and the compass and the straight edge. Again, that is made of 4 equilateral triangles. So what I want to do is I want to use these tools to make 4 equilateral triangles. First off, I'm going to draw a straight line. Now I don't want this line to be at the edge of the paper. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up right around here. I'm just going to draw a simple straight line all the way across. That line is a starting point where we will build this line from. Now, we're going to make 4 equilateral triangles, and if you have questions outside of this video on how to draw an equilateral triangle, refer to the How to Draw a Triangle video posted on Blackboard. But to review, we're using an equilateral triangle is the same dimension on all 3 sides. So we're going to use our compass to mark where those dimensions are. Let's make it so that each side of the triangle is 3 inches. I'm going to write this down to remember it. 3. So after we have our line set, I am going to adjust this compass to being 3 inches wide. So I'm going to set the needle in the groove on my ruler. I'll set it at the number 10. And then I'm going to spread it so that it's at 13. There we are. That is the compass set to 13 inches, or to 3 inches. So starting on the left side, I'm not going all the way to the edge of the page, but I'll be close. I make a mark, and then I make another mark up here. I'll move the compass to this point, make a mark here, and a mark here. These 3 points represent the bounding lines of this triangle here on the bottom left. I'm not going to adjust my compass. I'm going to keep it exactly where it is. And I'm going to draw this triangle next, the bottom right. So set it on the intersection that we already made. Mark there. Mark there. Move it over to this corner and mark here. So we just made the bottom right boundary of the bottom right triangle. In fact, we now have the boundary of the middle triangle as well. Let's make the top triangle. On this intersection, keeping the compass how it is, I'm going to swing up and make a mark. Then on this intersection, swing up and make a mark. These are all the points that we need in order to make this outline, the outline of this shape. And all I'm going to do now is connect the dots. If you've done this correctly, I am lining up this bottom corner and the top corner, and then you'll see that the straight edge intersects that center mark. If it doesn't intersect that center mark, you've done something wrong. And here we have this shape, the planar net of the tetrahedron. So what we're going to do is cut this out and fold it and glue it together to create the 3D form. But before we do that, we need to figure out how the loose edges are going to be connected. All right, so let's figure out where we're going to put our tabs. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges that need to be paired up with another edge to make a connection. This edge, we'll label it A. When you fold it up, because it's going to fold along this line, it's going to meet this edge. We'll also label it A. This edge will meet that one. And this edge will meet that one. So we have 3 pairs of edges, A, B, and C. We need 1 tab per pair of edges. So let's make a tab right here. We'll make it about a 1/2 inch. And a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to angle the edge of the tab in something like this, and it's going to meet that corner perfectly. So that is the tab for letter A. Let's do the tab for letter C. And then the tab for letter B. Each of our sets of letters have a single tab. I do want you to notice that there is one surface that doesn't have any tabs on it. That's this top triangle. I did that on purpose, and I'll show you later if you don't understand, but I want a side that I can fold down like a lid. So I'm going to leave one side without any tabs on it, because that'll be our lid. Now, let's start cutting this out. You'll need your straight edge and your X-Acto knife with a fresh blade. I want to cut around the perimeter. You see this point there to there? I don't want to cut that because then I'm going to cut the tab off. So we want to keep that tab on there. Let's see what we can do first off. All right. Again, be careful not to cut into your planer net. All right. So, after you have everything cut out, it should look something like this. Now, we want to fold these tabs, and we want to fold the triangles. There is one good way to do that, and that has to do with scoring the line. When you score the line, you are creating you're cutting into it a little bit and creating a place, a straight line where a bend will happen. If you do not score the line, the bend will happen crooked. So before you go in there and start scoring, grab a piece of scrap and practice. So what I'm going to do with the sharp knife is I'm going to drag it, just the weight of the knife, over top the paper. That's all you need. And then here's the scored side, and I want the cut side to be out. That makes for a nice, clean fold. Now it's very important that the scored side always stays on the outside. So our pencil lines are going to be on the outside of our folded shape. If you fold this backwards, you might tear the paper. So you need to fold it this way. It's nice and clean and it works. So you're going to score it and fold it. So I see that we're going to be folding this tab and this tab and this tab. But then we have this triangle here, and there are 3 more tabs or 3 more lines that need to be scored. So I'm going to go ahead and score all around this whole thing. Again, I am just using the weight of the pencil, of the X-Acto. Just the weight of the X-Acto scored. Lining it up perfectly. Score the line. Score. All right, I'm going to score these 3. Perfect. Now, every line has been scored. You can actually feel it with your fingers. I'm almost ready to bend it. Before I do that, I want these shapes to be nice and clean. So I'm going to use my eraser, and while it's flat, I'm going to erase all the pencil marks that we made. So drawing the planar net, cutting it out, and scoring it is complete. Now it doesn't take a lot of glue to glue this together. In fact, if you use too much glue, you'll mess it all up. And the way you know it's messed up is because the paper starts to buckle and bend, and it starts looking generally rough. But I do have a paper towel next to me, where I'm going to wipe my finger. But I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. Not a lot, just about that much. I'm going to smooth it out with my finger. And it doesn't take long for Elmer's glue to dry. So I'm going to fold this together. Line it up. And I'm going to actually press it down to my work surface. Make sure the edges are lined up and hold it for 30 seconds or so. Trying to give it even pressure. I don't want to see any gaps where these are connected. And this is a good connection. All right, so I'm going to get ready to put the lid down by folding these tabs. Making sure it all lines up. I'm going to pull off some drafting tape. Generally, you have to use tape when you put on the more difficult connections and also the final lid, like the last panel. It just helps to use the tape to hold everything in place. Okay, I've got about 3 pieces of tape. That should be more than enough. And with it folded down, the tab's ready to go. I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. To both of these tabs. Smooth it out so that there's not too much glue on there. It should just be a simple film, a film of glue. Wipe my finger off on the paper towel. And I'm going to fold this down, keeping aware of my sticky fingers, trying to not spread glue all over the whole thing. Position the tab where I want it. I'm going to take the tape and put it on lengthwise and bend it over. I'm going to take tape here, put it on lengthwise, and again, I'm going to bend it over. Just for a good measure, I'm going to take the form and I'm pressing it flat against the table. Flat, so it has nice, even pressure. I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds. All right. I'm going to wait just a moment longer before pulling this tape off. But this is our completed tetrahedron. Okay, here we go. All right. All sides look nice and even. The connections look good. And this tetrahedron is ready to turn in.